Well, it certainly was an interesting day weather-wise. Yesterday we seen plenty of fairly warm sunshine, but also we had some torrential downpours as well factored in. So a sunshine and showers regime certainly continues, and what we're going to see through the course of today is an area of low pressure pushed in. So you're going to see, especially across central areas of the British Isles, you're going to see a sunny start give way to cloud and increased wind, and eventually the rain will push in from the west as well. But thanks for clicking on to the Wednesday edition of Vogan's European Outlook. We do have an area of low pressure, a fairly deep area of low pressure for the time of the year, riding in the latest area of low pressure, riding in on a fairly brisk westerly jet stream. However, that jet stream is now starting to weaken somewhat, and of course, we are paying attention to Gert. Gert became a hurricane. It will be dissipating as it moves kind of northeast and eventually interacts with the jet stream, and it should hopefully disrupt the jet enough that we see a bit of a change in the weather pattern, particularly through next week. Not so much this week, but next week. So as we continue to skip through the sequence here, folks, you can continue to see that area of low pressure. So this is the GFS surface chart here, and you can see here the area of low pressure kind of pushing into the UK. Notice here we have a bit of a kind of a secondary area of low pressure kind of forms in the southern flank of the main low, and that kind of pivots its way in over the UK over the next 24 hours. And of course, with this kind of secondary formation here, that is going to pack some very unseasonable winds across the northern half of the UK. So it is going to be a fairly windy affair through the course of later today and into tomorrow here. But notice here that we are starting to draw our attention to the Azores high, with the interaction between an area of low pressure coming in off Canada and Gert kind of merges, should deepen a trough over the North Atlantic, and in turn it should pump this Azores high up into the UK, I think. But this is by Friday. Low pressure firmly in charge, wet, windy conditions. Once the front pushes through, we're going to be followed by sunshine and showers. And then as we go through the weekend and into the early part of next week, we'll start to see that area of high pressure trying to build its way in, specifically during the second half of this weekend, hopefully. But you notice here as well, there's a couple of other things that are worth pointing out. While we've got a trough here to the south of Greenland, high pressure trying to poke its nose into the southern half of the UK, probably going to be a northwest to southeast divide across the UK into the latter half of this weekend. What is worth pointing out is that notice here we don't have so much of an area of low pressure, but actually a high pressure that builds in on the back end of what was once Gert, kind of merged into a normal baroclinic area of low pressure, but there's going to be tropical properties within that area of low pressure as well. What that's doing is it's essentially disrupting the upper level wind field in the mid latitude region, and this is what we're hoping for, that we are going to see a bit of a kick within the atmosphere, and potentially a bit of a slowdown in the westerlies enough that we can build high pressure in. So by Monday, the remnants of Gert itself may, according to the GFS, push over the British Isles, bringing some pretty substantial wind and rain, I think. But notice here how we've got a much more established, much more dominant area of high pressure that is trying to build into the UK. Now, we also have another area of low pressure to the north over the Norwegian Sea. That remains to be seen how much influence that has. But at the moment, I think the Azores high is going to be stronger than this feature over the Norwegian Sea. Therefore, the high should win over the low. And then as we continue to push through mid to late week, it looks as if high pressure is going to become very, very established over pretty much the majority of the North Atlantic here. We've got a very strong area of high pressure that kind of almost dominates from pretty much Newfoundland all the way to the North Sea here. So it's going to be an interesting scenario here. We definitely have changes on the way, folks. And Gert is something that we've needed to kind of break us away from this kind of stubborn, persistent westerly airflow that has brought so much disrupted weather and cool weather at that. Don't know if you checked the written post yesterday. We've started off the first half of August on a very cool note. In fact, I would be quite interested to see when the last time the first 15 days on August has been as cool as it has been this year. So we might get some information fairly shortly off, hopefully, the Met Office on that one. But certainly we do have prospects of change, prospects of summer returning to the UK before we end the month of August. Hope you have a great Wednesday, and I'll be back probably over the weekend at some point. Bye for now.